Previously on the Comedy of Life.
Hey, is this Detective McClellan? Hey, I want to open a file case, about a Jackson, Tennessee murder. I know this has been going on for like 2 years now. Can we work something together? Because I've been trying to figure this out myself. Yes, my name is Daryl Forbes. Alright, you wouldn't mind working with me? Alright. Alright, sounds good, Charlie. Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Sincerely, you will not regret this. I promise you that. Yes, sir. Anyways, I was going to ask you, do you remember those 6 teenagers that were killed around, I'd say 2 years ago here in Jackson, Tennessee? Well, I think I know who did it, who killed them. I think I might have just found that out.
My name is Charlie McClellan. I'm a private investigator. This story is not easy to tell because it brings back memories of pain, fear, and trauma. It all started when I received a phone call from a guy named Daryl Forbes, who said he thought he knew who killed 6 teens in Jackson, Tennessee 2 years ago. Next thing I knew, Daryl was dead, a victim of murder. It seemed that someone didn't want me sticking my nose in a business that didn't concern me. But it takes more than a tragedy to stop me from doing my job. So I decided to look into this cold case. To this day, I wish I didn't.
What the? Escape.
You're a dead man, Charlie McClellan. You hear me? You're a dead man!
It had been 2 months since my encounters with the comedy killer. Life had been a lot easier. I had time to relax and recuperate. The baby was delivered successfully, without any problems, contrary to what my ex-wife Megan and I first thought. The comedy killer was put into custody and identified. Things were going pretty well. Those were the thoughts I had before I opened my mailbox that fateful day.
Smile. Gotcha. Samantha, can you hear me? Samantha! Why is it you can kill so many people so easily and yet have such a trouble with me? If you're gonna kill me, then just do it already! This must be the killer's backpack. Taking this.
It's time to solve this mystery. Let's open you up. We got a box of latex gloves. Don't like you. These are the victims. He didn't like you. Ten. 10 victims. You're new. If I'm going to solve this mystery, I'm going to have to go through everything I've learned from the very beginning. Now, as you may already know, my involvement in this case began with a phone call I received from Daryl Forbes, who during the call was murdered by a serial killer, who I call the comedy killer, a sick individual who sees life as a comedy. Everything is a joke to him, including the lives of the people he slaughters. Anyway, after killing Daryl, he realized that I was still on the line, hearing everything that transpired. He figured that I had to die too, since I was basically a witness to the murder and I could tell the police. Hence the reason he nailed this with a knife on my gate the day of the first attack. I should have told the police, but I took it upon myself that day to take on the job alone because that's what Daryl would have wanted. If I'm correct, the killer traced my phone number online to where I lived and the rest is history. Then I started my investigation. I decided that my first course of action was to go to Jackson and interview some of the locals there about the tragedy that shook their community 2 years ago. That tragedy being the Miller Road Massacre, the brutal murders of 6 teenagers on the night of April 12th, 2018. One of the locals there, a fellow investigator, gave me a newspaper cutout from their local newspaper that gave some more details about the murders. This is what it says. Unknown killer strikes. 6 killed in mass murder by anonymous masked assailant. In the 197 years since this city's founding, never has it seen a massacre as brutal as this. On the night of April 12th, police were contacted about a disturbance at 250 Miller Road by a neighbor who reported hearing screams and clattering of furniture coming from within the house. When the dispatch had arrived at about 11:52 p.m., what they saw was too shocking to describe. The moment the officers stepped into the house, they saw the body of 19-year-old Miles Hooper placed onto the stairlift in the house, his throat slit. Backup was requested by the officers and reinforcements arrived on the scene shortly after. Police found 5 other victims on the property, all killed in gruesome ways. The second victim they found was 18-year-old Ella Davis. She was found in the kitchen pantry with a hammer embedded in her skull. The third was 18-year-old Kate Bolton, who was strangled, the rope still around her neck when she was found in a bedroom on the 2nd floor. The fourth found had suffered fatal burns and was later revealed to be 20-year-old Michael Ross. He was set on fire by the killer, causing him to run through the house in a desperate attempt to find something to extinguish the flames. His body was found planted in the attic. The 5th and 6th victims were found floating in the swimming pool, one face up and the other face down. The one face down was 18-year-old Benjamin Woods. He had been stabbed in the chest 3 times and fell into the pool. The victim face up in the pool was 17-year-old Tina Rhodes, who was drowned by the killer. The killer has not been found, but witnesses say they were wearing a black ensemble with a white mask painted to look like a comedy theater mask. That's all she wrote. No. Now this got me thinking. That may be the order in which the police found the bodies, but I thought, what about the order in which the victims were killed that night? Let's visualize.
Let's go through my notes here. At around 10 p.m., the killer enters the property through the backyard. He keeps out of sight from the young couple enjoying themselves in the pool. When Benjamin Woods gets on the diving board, the killer seizes his opportunity. He creeps up behind Benjamin, stabs him 3 times in the chest, and pushes his body into the pool, making Woods the first victim of the night. Woods' girlfriend, Tina Rhodes, watches her boyfriend's murder and goes into shock, being unable to utter a scream or even a cry for help. She does try to escape, but the killer is faster than she is. He forcefully grabs Rhodes from behind, covers her mouth, and drags her to the pool. He proceeds to drown her and push her lifeless body into the pool to float with Woods' corpse. Rhodes is his second victim. After killing Benjamin Woods and Tina Rhodes, the killer enters the house. He then proceeds to enter the kitchen, where Ella Davis is probably grabbing a beer or a snack from the pantry. The killer grabs a hammer, enters the pantry, and bludgeons Davis to death. Davis is the third victim. From upstairs, Miles Hooper hears the commotion coming from the kitchen. He heads down the stairs, only to find the comedy killer's smiling mask greeting him. The killer slits Hooper's throat and places him on the stairlift in a sort of decorative manner. Hooper is the fourth victim. The killer goes upstairs. The killer goes upstairs. He has with him a coil of rope, a can of gasoline, and a box of matches. Now let's pause right here. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could the killer have these 3 items when he didn't when he was walking upstairs? No. This is my theory. The killer had this entire night planned. He planted these things in the house when he broke in earlier in the day before the night of the murders, prior to the night of the murders, so that he could pick them up when he needed them and do his work. This also explains the hammer that was used to kill Ella Davis. Let's continue. The killer douses Michael Ross, who is sleeping, in gasoline, lights a match, and sets Michael Ross on fire. Ross starts screaming and slowly dies. Ross is the 5th victim. His body is later planted in the attic. Ross's screaming wakes up Kate Bolton. The killer immediately goes in for the kill and starts strangling Bolton with the rope. While she's being strangled, the killer drags her body into the guest bedroom right next to the family. Kate Bolton eventually dies of asphyxiation and a snapped neck, making her the 6th and final victim of the Miller Road Massacre. After his work is finished, he disappears into the night. After news of the massacre spread through Jackson, the killer went into hiding for 2 years. That is, of course, until Daryl Forbes was murdered. After that news came out, I decided to get into the investigation. After investigating some more into this, I realized that every single one of the victims of the Miller Road Massacre knew Daryl on a personal level. And this put another idea into my head. Why would the killer want to go after Daryl in such a way, kill all of his friends, and then kill him? Why would the killer ever do something like that to Daryl? And that's what I'm still trying to figure out. Kate Bolton, she struggled. I put the rope around her neck. She didn't understand what was happening. She did. She heard screaming. Then her neck snapped. The fear in her eyes faded. It took a piece of her black hair. Kate Bolton. Elijah Wilkes. He should have seen it coming. He needed to be punished for what he did to me. After all the years of abuse piled up, my purpose in life became clear. Thank you for giving me my purpose. Burn in hell, old man. Elijah Wilkes. Wow. Took a piece of hair. He heard. Also, he heard me in the kitchen and came downstairs to investigate. He didn't hear me, my footsteps, as I had covered behind. Quick cut of the carotid arteries that the blood was everywhere. I put his body in the stair lift. When I went upstairs, I kept a pair of his sunglasses. His smiles. Miss Smith, she ran. Miss Smith, the couple, she was screaming. They didn't blame her. She just wanted to kill her husband. Fear of death made me feel so alive. She had no idea where she would go. She just ran. I got up to her. She screamed in my face. I stabbed her in the mouth.
Emily, James, Ella Davis. I had entered the house from the backyard. She was in the kitchen pantry grabbing a beer. She didn't hear me come in. I had my hammer with me. The beer bottle she had in her hand dropped and shattered on the floor. Her blonde hair turned red. Ella Davis. Michael Ross. He was sleeping upstairs, oblivious of my presence. I came into the room and drenched him in gasoline and lit a match. His body exploded into flames. The light was blinding. His screams were deafening. The screaming woke a girl up. You. I went to her and put a rope around her neck. I kept his stupid blazer. This must be... James. It's been already. He was right there. He was driving at night with his wife. Didn't he know that there are dangerous people who lurk at night? I stopped him in the middle of the road. He got out of the car. I stabbed him in the throat. He bled out within minutes. His wife screamed and ran. Tina Rhodes. She didn't make a sound. She couldn't make a sound. She just saw me kill her boyfriend. She tried to run. I stopped her. I shoved her head into the pool. The bubbles stopped. After she drowned, she joined her boyfriend in the water. So this must be Tina Rhodes. Daryl Forbes, he deserved it. It was all for you, Daryl. It was all because of you. When I needed you the most, you spat in my face. Well, let's see who's laughing now. I hope it's real comfortable down there. We don't mind you. Daryl. So then you must be Benjamin Woods. Benjamin Woods. He was the first. Then Tina. Then Ella Davis. Then Miles Hooper. And then Michael. Kate. Daryl, that's right. I'm a couple. That's the spree. It's H E T. So okay, that's it. Oh my gosh. S E T Y. Tell them Lee sent you. Lee. S D J. Okay. J V Y R D. No. F. G V Y R F D Y N B. Okay. X Y D. Okay, we've got another code. I recognize you anywhere. B X Y D S. Oh, maybe we need the key. Crap, it's on the spot. What could it be? I'm onto something. I just need to remember what the key is. This might just be crazy enough to work. Comedy killer? I know your freaking name. Thank you.
Well done, McClellan. Well done. Get up! Steady, McClellan! Get up! Move! I got a little surprise for you. You might be familiar with it.